Beyond merely existing, ensure that you are living. Yes. Beyond merely existing, ensure that you are living. Great evening, guys. Thank you so very much for joining us again on another exciting Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade. I am Mr. Upgrade, and I'm super excited again that we're having this conversation here at this time. This is the Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade, and if you're not new to being with us here, we do this every Sundays from 7 p.m. through to 8 p.m. And we basically get to do four things. Yes, we get to do four things when we do the Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade. And those four things are simple. Number one, we get to take your questions. So if you have questions whatsoever, feel free to send in the questions. We will gladly take them. Number two, we get to share with you the upgrade mastery tip for the week. And for this week, the upgrade mastery tip for this week is leaving. Yes, you heard that right. Leaving. Number three, we get to connect, network, and bond because we understand that it is very important and that's very critical that we get to connect, network, and bond in everything that we do because we live in a global village today. And number four, is that we get to have fun. Like I strongly say all the time that if learning is not fun, there is no learning at all. So we get to have fun while we do what we do on the Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade. So I'm excited to have you here. I don't know about you. If this is your first time, please let us know that this is your first time. Do well to send in a message that this is your first time so we can reach out to you with our first timers gift, right? Those who join us for the first time have a special gift for all of them. So do well to let us know that this is your first time and we'll gladly send our gifts your way, right? Okay, so thank you so much for joining us. Again, we do this every Sunday, 7 p.m. through to 8 p.m. So hit the subscribe button, turn on post notifications so you don't miss out anytime that we go live so that you can be the first to know and be part of what we do here. Now, on the Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade, we always love to take your questions. So if you have questions whatsoever, feel free to send in those questions. We will be glad to take them. We love to take your questions because we understand that questions are more important than answers. So we love to take your questions. So if you have any questions, anything bothering you whatsoever, feel free to send in your questions. We will be glad to take those questions and be of immense help to you. Now, while we wait for you to send in your questions, we always get ourselves prepared with our basic five questions. Now, these five questions that we get to share help us to lay the foundation for the conversation so that you can understand the perspective to which we are having the discourse so that you can be well informed about everything. So, we'll begin with our basic five questions that will help us set the tone for this conversation on leaving. So, let's begin. Are you ready? Let me see some emoji or stickers or comment in the comment section to know that you're ready. So just type ready so I know that you're ready for this and then we will proceed so I know that you're following, right? Because it's very important that I carry everyone along on this conversation. So type ready in the comment section or type I am ready in the comment section so that I can know that you're ready and then we can begin this conversation. There's so much to unpack on this gist and I can't wait for us to get into the gist proper. So let's begin. Question number one. What is living? We started out with our quote that says, beyond merely existing, ensure that you are living. And we said again that true living is not measured by its duration, but by its donation, right? So, what exactly is living? When we say someone is living their best life, what is living actually? What's living? When you hear, oh, I'm living, I'm not talking about the L-E-A-V-I-N-G. I'm talking about the L-I-V-I-N-G. Living. What is living? I'll tell you what it is, right? So that you can really understand this. I'll tell you what it is. Living, it is the process. Follow me closely. Living is the process of making the most out of your life through impact, value, and contribution. I'll say that again. Living, it is the process of making the most of your life through impact, value, and contribution. That is what living is, making the most out of your life through impact, value, and contribution. So, which means if you are living, your life should be making impact, your life should be adding value, your life should be making contribution. This is what living is, the process of making the most of your life through impact, value, and contribution. Now, question number two: who's responsible for living? Right? When we talk about living, who's responsible for living, having the life that is full of impact, value, and contribution? Who's responsible for it? The answer is simple. You are responsible for living, right? Your life is your responsibility to ensure that you are living, not just existing. There are people who are existing, but they are not living. The goal for you is not to just exist, the goal for you is to be living. And by living, you are making impact, value, and contribution. So living is your responsibility. Nobody's responsible for living for you but you. Are you getting this? So living is your responsibility. Question number three. Why living? Why living? Why living is anything that we should be having a conversation around. Why living? Why is it important for us to discuss living today? Why living? I'll tell you three reasons why living. Number one, impact. The impact of your life. Number two, the value. Number three, the contribution. So this is why living is important because of these three things: impact, value, and contribution. This is what makes your life have meaning because of the impact it's having, because of the value it's making, because of the contribution it's doing. So why living? It's because of impact, value, and contribution. Like we said, your life is not measured by its duration, it is measured by its donation. And by your donation, we're talking about your impact, your value, your contribution. That's what living is all about. Question number four: what are the benefits of living? What are the things that you benefit when you are living? What are the benefits of living? I'll tell you three benefits of living. Number one, you are creating experiences. Number two, you are solving problems. And number three, you are building people. And you could see that these three things also tie back again into impact, value, and contribution. So when you're creating experiences, you are making impact. When you are solving problems, you are rendering value. When you are building people, you are making contribution. So these are the benefits of living. You are creating experiences, you are solving problems, you are building people. So people who are truly living, you will always see that these things are fruit from their life because they are living. They are not just existing, they are living. And my goal for this conversation for you is after you're done, you will start living and not just existing. I'm going to show you ways that you too can start actually living and not merely existing because there are a lot of people who are just existing. You can do beyond existing. You can be living. Question number five. When is the best time for living? When is the best time for you to truly be living? Like I always say, the last best time for anything was yesterday. The next best time for living is now. Now is the next best time for living. Now, your impact, your value, your contribution. Now, you're creating experiences, you're solving problems, you're building people. It's now. Now is the best time for living. Because trust me, your life, like scripture says in the book of James, is like a vapor. Today is here, tomorrow is gone. How would you say you lived your life if you're not making impact, you're not giving value, you're not making contribution? What was the life all about? So are you getting this? So the last best time for living was yesterday. The next best time for living is now. Now let me tell you this, right? And I'm being very honest with you. Follow me closely. Let me tell you this. See this, guys. You are alive does not mean that you are living. You are living when your life is making meaning. Did you get that? I'll take that again. I said that you are alive does not mean that you are living. You are living when your life is making meaning. And the meaning that comes out from your life will be traced to your impact, your value, and your contribution. That's what gives your life a meaning. Are you getting it? That's what gives your life a meaning. And you see, life is mandatory. As long as you are born, you have life. Life is mandatory. But you see, living is optional. You make a choice for living. Living is optional. Life is mandatory. Anybody who's born into this planet is alive, has life. But living is optional. Your contribution, your impact, your value, that's on you. That's optional. And it makes no sense that you barely existed and you didn't truly live. You must be living, not just existing. You must be living. You must be living. Are you getting this? Are you beginning to understand why this conversation is very important at this time? Because we want people to not just be existing, but to be living. Because that's what makes the world of difference, that you are living, not just existing. Anybody can exist. Anybody can exist. But only those who are deliberate, intentional, consistent, excellent are living. And we don't just want you to be existing, we want you to be living. That's why we're having this conversation today. So that after now, you can stop existing and you can actually start living. Are you getting this? Now, see this, guys. Let's talk about living, right? Because I really want us to break things down so we understand it. Living. Living, living. What does that actually mean? I already told us. By its definition, living is the process of making the most out of your life through your impact, your value, and your contribution. That is living, right? Now let's break the word itself, living, Living. Let's explain it holistically in a way that you will learn from it and you'll be able to practicalize it in your own life, right? I really want you to be living, not just existing. Right? I really want you to be living, not just existing. So let's talk about living. Now, the L in living, guess what, guys? The L in living is learning. Back in secondary school, or they call it high school for those of you abroad, back in secondary school, it told you about the functions of any living thing, which is probably called Mr. Ninja D, right? One of the most important thing for anything that is living is learning. Because when you're born into an empty slate, right? There's nothing wired in your life, there's nothing about you, you're just empty, plain. But as you start your life, you start to learn things. You start to get programmed with some things, right? You start to get to know some things. That helps you in your journey in life. The truth is this: when it comes to living, it begins with learning. And for learning to truly take place, there must be some certain level of unlearning, which means while you were existing, you have learned some things based on existence. Now that you want to start living, you need to start learning. And the hardest part of any learning is unlearning. So you need to unlearn some of the things you have learned while just existing to learn the things that you need for living. So living begins with learning. Learning how to be respectful, learning how to show honor, learning how to show value, learning how to be cautious, learning how to be there for others, learning empathy. These are part of the things you learn now that you are living. So learning is a very critical aspect for living. Thank you, Lord Jesus. Learning is very critical while you're living. That's why they say, as long as you are alive, you are learning. It's only when you are dead you stop learning. And learning is a very critical component of living. Anyone who is truly living is learning. And learning has the phases of learning, unlearning, and relearning. Are we still together? So living begins with learning. I'm loving this conversation already. Living begins with learning. So as you are learning, you're knowing how living should be for you, not just existing. Anybody can exist. Anybody can exist. It takes a lot to be living because living begins with learning. Are you getting this? Are you understanding this? Living begins with learning. Now, the I in living, the first I in living is intentional. Now, because living is about impact, it's about value, it's about contribution, all of these things don't happen by chance. They happen by choice. And that choice is guided through intentionality. So you're intentional about being generous, you're intentional about being nice, you're intentional about being kind, you're intentional about being respectful, you're intentional about being honoring. You are intentional. So the one who's living is intentional. They don't leave things to chance. They're intentional about their living. It's called intentional living because they are intentional. They know what they should do about their health. They know what they should do for others. They know they are very intentional. So the first I in living is intentional. Now the question is, have you been intentional about your life, or you're just anywhere but left is let's see how it goes? No. True living is intentional. True living is not let's see how it goes. True living is not anywhere but left is. No. True living is intentional. So the question now is, have you been intentional? Perhaps the answer is no, which is okay because now you're about to start living and not just existing. Because while you were existing, you were not intentional. Now that you are living, you are more intentional. intentional about your growth, intentional about your contribution, intentional about everything that concerns you. You're intentional. So living, the first I in living is intentional. The V in living is value. See, I told you earlier, your life is never measured by its duration, how long you live. Your life is always measured by its donation. What did you contribute? What was your value? Jesus lived for 33 and a half years, but he changed the world with his contribution in that 33 and a half years. His value cannot be questioned. Are you getting this? Living is about value. What solution are you bringing? What help are you rendering? What what contribution are you making? That is living. Your value. How beneficial are you? Your living must have value. You're not just here to take up space, breathe in oxygen, breathe out carbon dioxide. No, you're not here to take up space. You're here to give value. That's what makes your living count. Because of the value that you are giving. That's what makes it count. Are we still together? Is this making sense for all of us? Right? Now, the V in living is value. You see, the second I in living is impact. While you are living, you are making impact. There is contribution to your life. There's impact. The value you are rendering is impacting your world. They say success is impacting your world with the investment of your personality, impacting your world. Because your living is about your contribution. So, what impact are you making? Because your value will produce impact. Are you getting this? The value of who you are will produce impact around you. People will be impacted by that value because you are living. So the second I in living is impact. What impact are you making? What is the impact of your life? What is felt in your absence? That's impact. When people can look back and say, oh, because they are no longer here, a lot of things have gone wrong. Impact. While you were aware, a lot of things were going right. Impact. The impact of your living. Living must have impact. Right? And then the end in living is never neutral. Now, the reason why this is important is because as long as you are alive, you will stand for something. Your life will make sense when you stand for something. Because, like the saying goes, that when you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. Your life makes sense when you are standing for something. And through your living, you're standing for something. You're standing for what is right. You're standing for something. So the end in living is never neutral. So you're not sitting on the fence. You stand for your beliefs. You stand for your values. You stand for your principles. You are standing for something. You are never neutral. True living is never neutral. You take a side. You take a stand. Are you getting this? True living is never neutral. You take a side. You take a stand. Never neutral. And finally, the G in living is generosity. See, there's so much to say about generosity. Generosity. So much to say about generosity. The truth is, the one who is truly living, his identity is seen in generosity. The one who's truly living, his identity is seen in generosity. And like I often have to, like I often say that in the true spirit of generosity, even a pauper can give like a prince. The one who is truly living has the attribute of generosity, always giving. So it's best to put it that the one who's truly living is always giving, is a person of generosity, always giving, not holding back, always giving. Are you getting this? So the G in living is generosity. And I often say this that if you have anything that you cannot give, you don't have that thing has you. Let that sink in. Are we still together? So understanding this helps you to realize that living is important. Living is essential. Life is worth living. Life is worth living, not just existing, but worth living. So look at living, learning, intentional, value, impact, never neutral, generosity. This, my friends, this is living. Now, my question to you is, are you living? And it's okay if you are not currently living, because that's why we're having this, so that you can from now begin living. Now, three things about living that I want you to always keep in mind, right? Three things about living that I want you to keep in mind. Number one, living is selfless. Anyone who is truly living is selfless. You put others ahead. Selfless. Living is selfless. Number two, living is about service, your contribution, your impact, your value is about service, right? Your donation is about service. Number three, living is sacrifice. It's sacrifice. There's no full living that doesn't entail sacrifice. Because it's not about yourself, right? It's not about yourself. You must be willing to make sacrifice. That's living, sacrifice. So, three things about living to always remember: one, selfless; two, service; and three, sacrifice. Now, there are two traits for living. Anyone who's living, you always find these two traits in them. Two traits. Number one, value. And number two, impact. Now, these are two traits for living. Anyone who's fully living, you always see that they are rendering value, they are making impact with what it is that they do. They are rendering value, they are making impact. These are two traits of living: value and impact. So when you see people who are not rendering value, not making impact, they are just existing, they are not yet living. Yeah, they are just existing. And it's okay for people to exist, but you can be much more when you're living and not just existing. You were designed for living, not existing. Are you getting this? You were designed for living, not existing. So it's important that you understand these two traits and let these two traits become the traits that we see in you: value, impact. That's what shows that you are truly living. Now, the one goal is contribution. What contribution are you making? They say nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. What contribution are you making? The essence of your living is to make contribution. So you're not making contribution, you're actually not living. Even plants are making contribution by providing man. right? Providing man with food, providing man with what we breathe. Plant is making contribution, right? There's a saying that if all the butterflies in the world dies, life will cease to exist. Animals are making contribution. So even you as a human being, if you are truly living, you should be making contribution. If you are not making contribution, we should question your living because it shows that you are just merely existing. And you can do more than just exist. You can actually be living because living is about contribution. The one goal of living is contribution. It's contribution. This is very critical contribution. Now, let's look at some things that I feel would help us on this conversation on living. This is going to be very helpful, right? Pay attention to this. It's going to be very helpful. You see, people do not remember you for who you are, they remember you for what you have done. I'll say that again so that you can take it in. People will not remember you for who you are, they remember you for what you have done. So when it comes to living, contribution is key. Contribution. What have you done for others? And you see, when it comes to contribution, it's not about what you are doing for yourself, because whatever you do for yourself dies with you, it ends with you. Whatever you do for others continues even when you are long gone. So people do not remember you for who you are. Oh, you were a great guy. No, no, no. They remember you because of what you have done. Why, whilst you were a great guy, what did you do with that greatness for others? They remember you for what you have done. They remember you for what you have done. See, life itself can be hard. Yes, life can be hard, right? I'm not trying to play down on your struggles or your challenges. Life itself can be hard. We do have our own issues, our own challenges, our own difficulties. Life itself can be hard. But you see, living makes it bearable. Do you get that? Living makes it bearable. Life itself can be hard, but living makes it bearable. You can bear it because you are living. Living makes it bearable. And you see this, your life is worth it when you are living and not just when you are making a life. Your life is worth it when you are living and you make a living by what you give. Let's take that again so you can understand it. Your life is worth it when you are living and not just making a life. So you're just doing whatever you're doing, you're trying to make a life for yourself. It's okay. But your life is worth it when you are living. And push that a step further, you will see that you make a life by what you get, but you make a living by what you give. So what do you want? You want to make a life? You want to make a living? You make a life by what you get. Yes, you are earning, you're chasing the bag, you're getting the bag. You make a life by what you get. But you make a living by what you give. It's all about your contribution. It's all about your donation. You make a living by what you give. You make a living by what you give. And you see, and a huge part of living is generosity. It's a huge part of living, generosity. And that's why we said earlier that in the true spirit of generosity, even a pauper can give like a prince. Are you getting this? In the true spirit of generosity, even a pauper can give like a prince because you make a living by what you give. And living is incomplete without generosity. It's incomplete. Living is incomplete without generosity. Whose life is better because you are living? Whose life is improved because you are living? Who can thank God that their path crossed with yours? Are you getting this? Is this making sense? I love to always say that. Are you getting it? Is it making sense? Because it is. You see, your life ends with you, but your living outlives your life. See what you're doing here on the Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade. One day, if Jesus tarries, we'll be 100 and something and we'll be out of this planet. But you see, all of the contributions we have made will still be relevant long after we are gone. So even though our life would have ended 120 and more, but our living will continue. That's why we say that your life ends with you, but your living outlives your life. Your living outlives your life. You see, living is not just a Christian practice. Say, okay, I'm a Christian, so that's why I should be living. No, 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 no. Living is not a Christian practice. Living is a human practice. Because we see in scripture, people who were not yet believers that were living, God was interested in their lives. So living is not just a Christian practice. Living is a human practice. As a human being, you should be living. You should be living. I'll tell you three strange things about living. I hope you never forget this. Three strange things about living I discovered while I was putting this together. Three strange things about living. You know about a person called Cornelius in Acts chapter 10. You know about Dorcas also in the book of Acts. And you know about King Hezekiah, right? Cornelius in Acts chapter 10, one day the angel came to him and said, your alms and your giving has come up to God for a memorial. And now send men to Joppa that will bring Simon Peter to you, who will bring you words through which you will be saved. Cornelius was not a believer, but Cornelius was just living. He was giving alms, building synagogues, helping people. He was just living. His life was making impact. His life was giving value. His life was making contribution. Cornelius was living. So I'm going to tell you three strange things about living, right? The first one is that living gets God's attention. When you are living, it gets God's attention. And you see that with the life of Cornelius. God took notes of Cornelius. God took notes of Cornelius. And then God said, send angels. Go and tell Cornelius to send men to get Peter so that Peter will bring word that he and his household will be saved. This man has been living. This man cannot die without receiving salvation. This man has been living. So, first strange thing about living is that living gets God's attention. How you are living, it gets God's attention. how you are making contribution, how you are making impact, how you are rendering value. It gets God attention. Because that's what we see in the life of Cornelius. He was living. And God said, Connie, Connie, I'm going to get you saved. The second strange thing about living is that it brings you back to life. Dorcas, in the book of Acts, Dorcas died. Dorcas was a devout woman. She was a believer, but she died. But when Dorcas died, the women said Dorcas cannot die. They sent words to Peter to come. And when Peter came, they showed Peter all that Dorcas had been doing for them and said Dorcas cannot die. And Peter brought Dorcas back to life. See, living can bring back life. Dorcas had died. No fault of her. She had died. Natural cause. She had died. But because she was living, the people said, no, Dorcas cannot die. That's a strange thing. He said, no, Dorcas cannot die. If Dorcas dies, who will continue this for us? Who will be making impact upon us? Who will be contributing towards us? Who will be giving value to us? Dorcas just cannot die. And he brought Dorcas back to life. See this. Never forget this. That's a strange thing about living. It brings you back to life. The first strange thing, it gets God's attention. The second strange thing, it brings you back to life. The third strange thing, like I told you, strange things about living. Very strange. It elongates your life. Living elongates your life. It makes your life longer. You say, well, how's that possible? God sent his prophet to go tell Hezekiah that put your house in order for you surely die. Hezekiah turned his back to the wall and reminded God, not that God forgot him. He reminded God that God, see how I have been living. If I die, who will be doing this? Who is going to be doing this if I die? Of what use is my death to you? The prophet had not left Hezekiah's palace when God sent him back to Hezekiah and told him that he will add 15 more years to his life. Life elongates your life. Strange things about living. Living elongates your life. Do you get the three strange things about living? Number one, it gets God's attention. You see that with the life of Cornelius. Number two, it brings you back to life. You see that in the life of Dorcas. Number three, it elongates your life. You see that in the life of Hezekiah. These are strange things about living. Very strange. When scripture tells you that God is the one who pays anything you do to the poor, God's the one who rewards you. You think it was a joke? You think God didn't know what he was doing? When you're providing for widows, providing for orphans, you are living. It's part of impact, it's part of value, it's part of contribution. Whose life is being better because you exist? Whose life is being better because you are living? What's the value? What's the impact? What's the contribution of your living? Because this is what moves you away from just existing to living. See, everyone have the choice to just make a life or make a living. Don't make a life, make a living. Because you make a life by what you get, make a living by what you give. Your contribution, your value, your impact. Those are things you give. You make a living by what you give. You make a life by what you get. You make a living by what you give. And the goal is to be making a living, not just making a life. Make a living. Make a living. Let life be blessed because of you. Let life be impacted because of you. See this, guys. True living ensures that you love, you care, and you share. I'll say that again. True living ensures that you love, you care, and you share. You see that with the Good Samaritan. He didn't know the man who was beaten and left for dead from anywhere. He was, in fact, that man was a Jew. And Jews and Samaritans have their issues. Remember the woman by the well who told Jesus that, what do you have to do with me? Right? Because you are a Jew, I'm a Samaritan. So they have their history. But because this man, who was termed good, was making a living, he showed love, he showed care, and he shared. Picked up the man who was beaten and left for dead, gave him first aid, put him on his horse, took him to an innkeeper, made deposits for him, and came back to check up on him. That's love, care, and share. That's what happens when you are living. You love, you care, you share. These things happen when you are living. When you are living. And you see, those who are living are sustained by their living. Their living sustain them. You see about Dorcas. Their living sustain them. God keeps providing for them because they are living. God keeps providing for them so they can keep making more impact because they are living. God keeps using them as a channel because they are living. They are not reservoirs. They are not keeping to themselves. They are sharing. See this, guys. Those who are living are sustained to keep living. God sustains them to keep living. You cannot have untimely death. No, they live to full ripe age. They can't have untimely death because they are living. They can't just die abruptly because they are living. They are contributing and making impact. They are giving value. So they just can't die. They just can't die. See, even God empowers those who are living so they can continue living. God gave Hezekiah 15 more years. The same God who told him that if he put his house in order, for he will surely die. God empowers those who are living to keep living. And you see, living is not transactional. So I'm doing this for you, so tomorrow you do back for me. No, no, no. Living is not transactional. Living is transformational. I'm not doing it because someday you pay back. No. I'm doing it because that's how I'm living. I don't need you to pay back. I don't need you to pay back. What I need to do is pay it forward. Do the same for another person. Pay it forward. Don't pay back. Pay forward. True living is transformational, not transactional. It is pay forward, not pay back. So I'm not doing this so you can do something for me in return in the future. No, it is pay forward. Do something for others in your future. Pay forward. Pay it forward. Pay it forward. See, Jesus on the earth was living. Yes, he was the Son of God, but he was living. Everywhere he went, he was doing good. Healing all they that were sick, cleansing the lepers, casting out devils, raising the dead. He was living his life to the full. He was living. No wonder he did so much in 33 and a half years. He was living to the full, fully living. Because the truth is this: living is fulfilling, satisfying, and it is fun. It is fun. Living is fun. Trust me. It is fulfilling, it is satisfying, it is fun. Nothing gives you as much fun like living. Nothing. Nothing makes you fulfilled like living. Nothing makes you satisfied like living. Because living is fulfilling, satisfying, and fun. And you see, contrary to popular beliefs, you do not need to have everything to be living. With what you have, with where you are, you can be living. People say, oh, if I had so much, I'll be able to give. No. Even from the little that you have, still give. You do not need to have everything to be living. Start with what you have, where you are, and start living. Start living. And see, when it comes to living, faithful in little is faithful in much. You cannot live, not be living right now and sharing from the little thousands you have. When you have millions, you still will not share. Because if you have not been faithful with little, you cannot be faithful in much. That applies to living also. When you are faithful with the little that you have in making impact, in giving value, making contribution, you will be faithful when you now have more. And you see, because life is spiritual, whether you believe it or not is irrelevant. Living ensures spiritual covering. And by spiritual covering, I mean part of your living ensures that you're involved with prayers, fasting, interceding, forgiving, giving. You need some spiritual covering for this you're living. Prayers, fasting, interceding, forgiving, living. These are things that you are also contributing. You are also doing for others. You are praying for others. You are fasting for others. You are interceding for others. You are forgiving others. You are giving to others. It's part of your living. This is the spiritual covering in your living. God can trust you with a burden for others. He can trust you with a burden for others. See, living is a love walk. It's a love walk. It's a walk of love. It's a love walk. You love with your actions, you love with your words. That's living. It's a love walk. I mean, see, those who are living are never forgotten. They are evergreen in the hearts they impact. I'll say that again. Those who are living are never forgotten. They are evergreen in the hearts that they impact. Evergreen, never forgotten. Never forgotten. You see, when it comes to living, there are terms and conditions, right? The terms for living: your time, your energy, your resources, your money, your service. These are your terms for living. If you are going to be truly living, you must meet these terms: your time, your energy, your resources, your money, your service. These are terms you must meet if you are living. Very critical terms. I'm getting this. Very critical terms you must meet if you are living: your time, your energy, your resources, your money, your service. And you see, you make your life worth it by living. You make your life worth it by living. That's how you make your life worth it. Your contribution, your value, your impact. That's how you make your life worth it. You make your life worth it by living. And you see these guys, ask yourself, in all brutal honesty, are you living or merely existing? Ask yourself, in all brutal honesty, are you living or you are merely existing? Based on what we've said in this conversation, based on the value, the impact, the contribution, are you living or you are just merely existing? If you are living, congratulations, keep living. If you are merely existing, this is time for you to stop existing and to start living. And it's easy for you to start living. Very easy. That's why we had this conversation. Go back on what we talked about. You could see how easy it is for you to start living, for you to start making impacts, rendering value, making contribution, right? Even with the little that you have and the little that you are, you can make a living. Like we said, you make a living by what you give, even though you make a life by what you get. But making a life is not as important as making a living. Because making a life just gets you existing. Making a living actually gets you living. So, guys, this is a reminder that it's time for you to stop. It's time for you to stop existing. It's time for you to actually start living. Because at the end of the day, your life will come down to how well were you living. And we want you to truly be fulfilled, satisfied, and have fun while you were living. We don't want you to just exist. We want you to actually live. So, guys, this is where we draw the curtain for today. And we hope that you have learned something. And we hope that you go back and practice your learning so you can actually start living. This is critical. And like we always say, and I want you to always take this very literally and personally. Three things will happen for you in this new week that you start living. Number one, increased voice of God. Number two, open heavens over your life. And number three, more angelic activities in all that you do. Remember this, guys. There's always more on the upgrade side of life. That's why we encourage you that you leave good behind so that you can upgrade. And what better way for you to upgrade than for you to actually start living? So, guys, this is the time that you start living. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you.